Usually, people think that once you have kids, then everything about your marriage is going to be less. Less time to be together, less intimacy, less energy, less sleep. You get the point. But what seems to be less actually forces us to exact things, to nail down on what it is exactly we need to do. More like quality over quantity. But in order to have a great marriage and to really perfect your game, it all starts with your mindset. In our episode today, we're going to explore some core marriage mindset shifts to make your relationship great. Hey, and welcome to the New Mama Marriage Bliss Show. I want to help you get out of the overwhelming distance and guide you to reconnect to yourself and to your husband. You know you want things to be different, but you're probably not sure how to make it happen. Well, Mama, you're in the right place. Here we will dive into all the things you need to start loving your life and relationship and start living like soulmates and not roommates anymore. We will dive into motherhood, marriage, communication, holistic inspiration, and practical hacks and tips. Mama, I believe that transformation and deep connection await you. Hi, I'm Aliza Saeed, proud mama and grateful wife, and the Mama Marriage Coach. You too can turn your mess into magic. Come on, Mama, and let's do it together. Hi, and welcome back to our show. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Aliza Saeed, the Mama Marriage Coach. I would like to start off by saying any mama out there who's feeling tired or a bit overwhelmed or like she just needs to cuddle up in bed and get some good hours of sleep, I see you. And I am sending lots of great energies your way. And I'm sure that we will be able to tap into our super mama powers and things will get better. And I see you. I actually am just coming back from being in the hospital for a few days with my baby. So I know what it's like right now to be really wanting to sleep. I will share some thoughts and learnings that I've had over these past few days on our next episode. I hope. I'm still kind of gathering it all together. Thank God everything's okay and my baby feels good. And I will share a little bit next time. So what are we talking about today? Today we're going to be talking about marriage mindset. Some really important things that we need to remember in order to make our marriage great. As I was writing this out, I saw that I even got the acronym of GREAT, G.R.E.A.T, and we're going to go through them. These core mindset shifts that we need to have in mind in order to really have a beautiful, connected, loving relationship. Just like when somebody's building a business, instead of right away starting with what they need to do and how things need to be done, they first start with their mindset. Because if your mindset is not in the right place, then neither will your strategies. So today, the first thing we're going to be talking about, and this is our G, as I said, it's going to be GREAT, G.R.E.A.T. I know it's a little corny, but it just happened to come out like that. Well, nothing just happens. I guess it was meant to be. So our G is give to love. Now listen to this. I want us to change our formula of what giving is in a relationship. Many times people think that, well, when you love someone, then you give to them, right? When I'm feeling like I love my husband, I will want to do things for him. So here we're going to switch it. It's not when I love, then I give. It's when you give, then you will love. It's exactly the opposite of what we're usually told. You know, it's this unbelievable thing that human beings are the only creatures that need to take care of their babies so long. And in the beginning, their children are completely dependent on their parents. Our children are completely dependent on us. If you think of a newborn infant, they need us to do everything for them, and we're constantly giving and giving to them. Other animals, they have their baby and their baby walks right next to them, gets up on their feet and starts running next to their mother. They're not completely dependent like we are. And there's a reason for that. The fact that we start our relationship with so much giving is what builds this strong relationship of love, that we're willing to do anything for our children because we love them so much. So it's the same thing in our relationships. Love is like a bonfire. I say this a lot. And if you add wood to the fire, it will keep burning. If you don't add any wood, things are going to fizzle out. The truth is, our culture teaches us so many distorted views about what love is. But I think that if we change this formula, we change our mindset about what love is, we're going to see such a difference. So instead of, I will give when I love, I will give and then I will love. It will bring that love. Even if I'm not feeling it today, I woke up kind of not liking my husband so much that day. Like every little thing annoys me. Start giving. Think of something that you could do to give to your husband, and then you will see it will change the way that you feel. R, recognize the good. So many times when couples are in survival mode, they're little kids or routine has gotten really crazy. So what happens is whenever there's something that's a little frustrating between them, many times instead of actually sitting down and opening and communicating about what's going on, and we'll talk a little bit about communication afterwards, instead of doing that, they put up a little brick in this imaginary wall between them. This brick wall is in order to protect ourselves because we don't have the time or energy to actually sit down and solve things. So, okay, fine. Maybe his socks are in the middle of the floor, or maybe he gave me that look that I don't like that he gives, or maybe he forgot to do whatever it is. Whatever these things are, instead of communicating, we put this block of frustration over frustration and another frustration, or a little resentment, or a little anger, or a little despair sometimes. And we start building this block that just blocks the connection between us. How do we take this wall down? Again, as I said, it's not because we don't love each other. It's because we're kind of protecting our small resources that we feel like we have. Because we feel like we don't have enough time. We don't have enough energy to actually be in a different mode than survival. So how do we take this wall down? By finding good. By finding good after good after good. And just like imagine every time I find something good in my partner, chiseling down one of those bricks in the wall between us. I once heard a great story. I think actually my mommy told me this story of a marriage counselor who was meeting with a couple, and the couple had lots of bad things to say about each other. And they were really, really fighting. Then the counselor says to the wife, "Can you tell me something good about your husband?" She looks at him and says, "No, can't find anything." And she says, "Well, try again. Try and look at him and find anything that you can, something good." And she says, "Well, actually, you know what? He is the best truck driver I ever saw." And the counselor was like, "Okay, great. Every time," this is what she says to her, "every time you want to give him some kind of critique, you have to start off with that. You have to start off with, you are the best truck driver I ever saw." And then say whatever it is. But first start with the good. So start with a little good in order to chip down that wall that we build up. And each couple needs to find a way that works for them. You could either end the day with something positive. You could make little notes that you write down and then fill up a jar. You can have a WhatsApp group just between the two of you that every time you see something positive in him and he sees something positive in you, you send it to each other, and then you have this sanctuary of positivity in between you. You can leave a note, any way that feels good for you to just really add good in the relationship. The Gottmans talk about how we have to bring back a ratio into our relationship, or not bring back if it was never there, but make sure that there is a ratio in our relationship of 5 positive to 1 negative. Make sure that we're adding goodness, that we're finding the good in our husband and in our relationship. E is evolve from conflict. Now, what does that mean? I meet many women who are afraid of conflict, are afraid of tension in their marriage. And I'd like to say, no, don't be afraid. Invite it in. Conflict is actually a great invitation to deepen the relationship and to have great things happening. We need to do this reframe in our mind, great mindset shift, that parenting and marriage are an epic personal development journey. Usually, those same things that brought us together are usually the same things that drive us the most crazy. And that's okay. That's supposed to be that way. Why? Because we are able to expand our hearts in order to learn from our partner. And then once we're able to really use the differences between us, to use the conflict, we can transform ourselves and do such great inner work. We can learn to use conflict as a springboard towards growth. And it is so tangible. And you could feel how from a place of deep conflict or deep tension, you could get to such deep love. How to do that? That's an art, but it starts out first with being able to really have the mindset of not running away from conflict, not wanting to only have great moments. I was once talking to someone who got divorced, and she was telling me, it's funny because we never fought. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, that's not a good thing. Fighting is something that can bring you together. Fighting is something that means that the other person is important to me, that you're so important to me that I feel so close that what you do moves me, that it does something to me. So conflict, tension, don't run away from it. Know that you can evolve from it. With the right tools, you could turn that tension into a place of deep love and deep transformation. A, assume you can't assume. What does that mean? Assume that you have no idea what your partner is thinking or intending to do. Assume that you don't know what his real intentions are. And the same thing goes the other way. Assume that he doesn't know what you want. Assume that he doesn't know what you're feeling. Many times, tension happens because we're sure that our husband knows what we're feeling. Like, doesn't he know that I am so tired and that I would love him to come and, I don't know, bathe the kids instead of me? Or I would love for him to wash the dishes, or I would love for him to tell me how great I'm doing, give me some kind of encouragement. Sometimes we assume that he should know exactly what's going on, or we assume that we know exactly what he's thinking or why he did something. And even when you're in a relationship for many years, and many times we're right with our assumptions, but many times we're also not. We want to be able to nurture deep communication. And deep communication is really an art. It's an art that needs to be learned and practiced. Communication is built with both learning how to express what I want to say and also being able to learn how to listen. Those two factors of communication are so important to learn and really master them and learn the right tools to be able to communicate in a way that's going to foster love and connection. So what are some things that we could do? You can ask questions so that you're not assuming. Ask questions in order to understand your partner. Never assume that you know exactly what he's thinking or why he's doing something. Know that if you don't express your needs or your desires or your feelings, assume that he doesn't know what's going on. The next one is T. T is team up. Now, this mindset is really crucial because if we're not a team, then we start scorekeeping, we start becoming defensive, we start attacking each other, and we can belittle our husband in front of other people. But once we know that we are a team, and not only know, but we feel it, it's like a core belief and mindset that we have, then we know that we're fighting for the same things. We together are building a home that is based on our beliefs, that are based on our desires and dreams, but it's something that we are doing together. And when we're doing it together, then there's no, hey, but I changed the diaper yesterday, so now it's your turn. Well, what do you mean? We're on the same team. We can ask the same question, but with desire to share in all the things that we need to do and do it as a team. But if it's coming from a place of me against you, then that means we need to strengthen this mindset of we are a team. We need to fight for each other so that we're fighting for our family together and not fighting against each other. It's not ego against ego. It's two teammates trying to figure out what the best way is that they can win together. So these mindset shifts that we mentioned here, they're great to be able to really start thinking about how we perceive our husband, how we perceive our relationship, and start living with more connection. So I will go over them again. How to have a great marriage. G, give to love. R, recognize the good. E, evolve from conflict. A, assume you can assume. And T, team up. So these mindset shifts are sometimes really hard to anchor into our lives and actually bring them to action or make them our reality. And if you feel like you need some support in this area, I would love to be able to help you. You could start by DMing me on Instagram or on Facebook if there's a certain area that you need support with and you want to bounce off some ideas of how to take some action steps. Please send me a DM on Instagram or on Facebook, and I would love to help you with that. And if you want to take it a step further, you can book a discovery call with me and we can see if working together one-on-one and going through coaching and really diving deep into your marriage mindset and into your relationship, and then we can make it really, really great. I would love to send you all those loving energies again, and I'm wishing you all a great day. Anchor into goodness. See the good in yourselves, in your relationships, in your husbands, and in the world around you. And I will see you next time. Hey mama, and thanks for joining us and listening to this episode. I know what it's like to crave some together time with your husband, but feel so stuck because for whatever reason, you can't leave the house. Maybe someone's sick, maybe there's no babysitter budget, or maybe you're just too exhausted. Well, that's why I would love to gift you a list of 50 date night ideas that you can do at home when you can't find a babysitter. It doesn't mean date night is doomed. Go over to alizasaid.com. That's ALIZASAID.com/50 date night ideas and download a list of awesome ideas for a date night at home. Plus, you get some really essential guidelines to make a home date awesome. Some important things that can either make it or break it. So head over to alizasaid.com/50 date night ideas and date away.